cloud. All right, guys, how are you today? We're gonna do a special training, and this is something that I was struggling with for a long time. I think it took me a few years to fully understand it because there's different ways that people teach branding, and neither of them are wrong, but I think it's supposed to be combined, not just one way. So I'm gonna explain you the old way, which is still works, but not alone. So the old way was attraction marketing. It all started with that a few years ago, when attraction marketing was huge, and you were like, lots of people were being successful in their businesses with that attraction marketing. Now it doesn't work. Attraction marketing alone doesn't work. And if you really think about it, like, I get so bothered when I see girls like, okay, this is from Beachbody. I bought it from a friend a few years ago. I used to buy her shakes. I mean, a year ago, I used to buy her shakes. So like, they'll put like their shake like this, and it doesn't say the brand. And then I'll go and see on their profile to see if there's a link so I can go buy it, because I don't want to ask questions. I just want it. I want to buy it, right? I already see you share it. I see you use it. I just want it, right? But it's so annoying when they don't want to tell you and you have to message them, or it's just so hard to find out what it is. That doesn't work anymore. So another example is like people like hiding their brand, like instead of like showing the brush what you're using, they'll try to hide it, stuff like that. Like, that doesn't work anymore. Before, attraction marketing was all about like, oh, look at this, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And it made me lose 70 pounds, but it's a secret. And then people were like, what are you drinking? What is it? And they were DMing you left and right. People don't have time to DM you now left and right. So you don't have to hide your product. Now, you do want to do some attraction marketing, but you don't want to do it alone. It doesn't work anymore. So that was me a few years ago. I want to say back in 2017, 2018, when I would see my sponsor at the time from the other company post a certain way, and I'm like, how did she do it? Like, I want to be able to post like that, because the way that she was posting about her business was not really saying what she was doing, but she was kind of like showing the lifestyle, and it made me want to have that. That doesn't work anymore. That doesn't work anymore. People don't buy the lifestyle. People now what works is people buy you. They buy you, they join you, and they buy off of you because of who you are. So branding is probably going to shock you, but branding is not your product. It's not your company. That's their brand. Pharmacy is pharmacy. And whatever company that you're doing is, that's their brand. You are you. So you want to brand yourself, not the company that you're representing, not the services or products that you're representing. You want to brand yourself. Now, I've done this training before for my team, and I talked about buckets, and some of you guys were like, I don't know what to do, because those buckets included to write things about yourself. And sometimes, because it happened to me, I didn't know who I was. You could ask me like, who are you? I'm a mom of boys? No. Who are you? Like, who are you without being a mom, without being a housewife? Who are you? Who is Jessica? And I wasn't able to answer those questions. So if you are clear on, like, if you don't have that confusion of like who you are, then it's so easy to write down 3 to 5 things of who you are, and then that's going to be your brand. But if you don't know who you are, there's other things that you can do, and we'll talk about it today. But branding, it's all about you. And again, this was a shocker for me. Because when I started this industry, I thought I had to talk about the product and the company only. And that was like, I needed to be known for that product and I needed to be known for that company. No, you need to be known for who you are. You need to be relatable to people. People need to get to know you. Like people can know like what's your favorite color, what your favorite hobby, you know, certain things about who you are. If you're a coffee lover, share that. You'll attract coffee lovers. So just think about things that describe you. Again, this was hard for me, and I know it has been hard for some of my teammates. I've actually had personal conversations where like, I'm stuck, I don't know what to write down. And it's okay, because sometimes we lose ourselves. Motherhood does that to us. Stay-at-home moms know that like it's so easy to lose ourselves because we dedicate our lives to our children in our homes. So it's okay if you don't know what to write down, we'll figure it out together. But just know that, and I want to leave this really clear, that brand is not your company or your product, okay? And then one thing I really want you guys to have in mind, and go fix it right now if you need to, is your profile, okay? That's part of your brand, your profile. When I was talking about attraction marketing earlier, there was a time where you had to have a color and people had to remember you for that certain color, the preset on your pictures, you know, certain specific things. Now that's not completely wrong. You still want to have your theme in your profile. You want to have this little theme, this little vibe, you want to call it like that, this little vibe going on in your profile. But it's not like the only thing that you need to do for branding. You could have a logo, that's important. You could have gear, that's important. If you always want to be known for like this girl that's wearing a shirt with your logo or your team name, that is okay. But that's not the only thing that you have to do when it comes to branding. It's one of the things. So your profile, you want to make sure that you have a profile picture that stands out, and you don't have like other family members around you. It's just you, and it has good lighting, whether you take it in front of the window, outside, or in front of a ring light. Make sure that it's a really good selfie and it shows your face. And one of the things that I learned with Fraser Brooks is put this background, color background behind it to make it pop, make it stand out. And I can show you guys real quick what I mean. I'm sure if you go to my profile, you'll notice it, but I'm gonna show you who I learned it from. He is one of my coaches. You see this girl? She's from that inner circle that I'm in. So Fraser Brooks, the little ring background, that color background. And there's an app that you can use for that. But you see this girl too. She sells Kangen water, Maricela. She has that. Jessie Lee has that. Oh. So you see that her profile picture pops. Okay, it's a good selfie of her and it pops out. So that's what you want to do for your profile picture. When it comes to like how your profile looks, it just has to have a vibe of you. Like Jessie Lee doesn't have all those like little, you know how right here in the highlights, people put these certain colors or whatever. You can do that if that's you. She uses bright colors. All her pictures are like basically not filtered. But then you'll have different people like Oh, let me see. I can use a pharmacy girl. She's you guys, some of you guys know her. You see her lighting is a little bit different. Her background is gray and most of her content. You know, she has a different vibe. Oh, Daisy. Daisy has this little thing going on that's also popular in IG, and I think it's pretty cool. I tried it out and it was just not for me. Like she has a reel, a quote, and a reel. And then like she has her whole profile looks like this, right? And that's her brand. So figure out what you want your profile to look like and just have your vibe. But make sure that your profile picture is showing your face and you're not in a profile picture where there's like 5 people around you and they don't know who's Fit Daisy, or they don't know who is Sarah, or they don't know who's Angie. Make sure that they see you only. Okay, that's very important for branding. Oh, hold on, I'm back. I'll look at the questions right now. So that's really important for branding. Another thing that's really, really, really important for branding is positive posting. Okay, let me send this to voicemail. Positive posting. My life is not perfect. It's also not dramatic. I haven't had drama in a long time. I think the most dramatic event that I had was a couple years ago when my dad was severely sick and he almost died on us. And then, I don't know, I don't have anything so big or so huge, so impactful to go be posting on my social media. But if there is, like if I have an issue with a family member, I'm not gonna go post about it on Facebook. If I have an issue with my husband, I'm not gonna go post it on Facebook. You want to be the light of your profile. You want to build a brand where people that are watching you and they want to be in your team or they want to purchase from you respect you. Because the moment that you throw a little bit of like ew kind of like vibe, they'll follow you. They'll be like, you know what, never mind, I'm not going to buy my makeup from her, I'm not going to join her services, I'm not going to do it. So be positive light in your profile, make it part of your brand no matter what. Like everybody should have that as part of the brand, to have positive postings, positive lives, positive stuff. Even if you're going through tough times, instead of sitting there whining and complaining, yes, me too, instead of sitting there whining and complaining, why don't you inspire using what you're going through right now, right? If you're going through issues, you don't have to say what you're going through, but you could say something like, this is really hard times right now, but I want everybody to know that after the rain, the sunshine comes. That's all you got to say. And then people are going to be like, oh, she's going through some stuff right now, but she's being optimistic, rather than being like, I'm sick and tired of da-da-da-da-da. And it's not going to look good on you. It's going to look really bad for your brand. So make sure you keep your drama here. Grab yourself one of these. They're at the 99-cent store, and you can write your drama here. Okay? Not on your social media, because it's really important for your brand. We kind of touch on swag, so you can have your swag. I have this coach that I follow. Her name is Barbara de la Rosa. She is a Spanish coach. She teaches different things, mainly marketing and sales and stuff like that. She's a coach. She's always wearing red lipstick. Always, always, always. That is part of her brand. So that's also an example you can do. She's always wearing red lipstick, and she's always wearing her glasses when she's coaching. When she's on her stories, it's a different vibe. It's just her. But when she's as a coach, she has this like red lipstick and her glasses. That's her look. So that's just an example. And then another thing that I want to tell you guys is what makes you different. You want to write things down on what makes you different. What makes you different on who, like if I'm going to sign up with you, like why am I going to sign up with you? Why am I going to buy from you? There's thousands of people around there with your product or your services. Why am I going to get my nails done with you? Why am I going to buy coffee from you? Why am I going to buy candles from you? Why? Why should I buy from you? Make yourself like stand out and see what makes you different from other people, from other sellers, from other services. What makes you different? You want to stand out. Your values are very, very important for branding. Super important for branding. You might want to write down at least 3 values of what you believe in, what you stand for as a human being, and you want your social media to know what you stand for. For me, for example, me, I want to stand for motivating women and helping them believe in themselves. That's part of my brand. Another one is mom life. And mom life has a lot of little topics in between. Mom life is child with autism. Mom life is being a mom of boys. Mom life is not wanting to cook because I don't like cooking. I'll clean and I'll do everything else, but please excuse me from the kitchen. You know, you will also know me for teaching. Some of you guys have been following me for a few years. I don't know if there's somebody on here that sent me a message about 5 months ago when I was doing these type of coaches and I'm going to go back and do that. When I was doing these type of coachings in my business page, I was going live. I think it was every Wednesday or every Thursday night on my business page. And she said, you know what? I really admire what you put out there on your page, and I like to listen to you. I learn a lot from you, and I just admire you. And people know me for sharing. People know me for sharing information. So those things are part of my brand. Those things are part of my values. I believe in sharing. I believe in being my true self. That's my mom life, the true self that I like to share. And I also share parts of my life that other people may be ashamed of sharing. Like, for example, a lot of you guys know that a few years ago, I came out of a shelter and I had lost everything. And I've been building my life little by little. Just a year and a half ago, and I put it on my stories yesterday, and then I put it on as a reel too, because it came up on my memories. I was sharing a story about this bed that's right here in front of me. For a long time, even before I was married, I always had a bed where I didn't fit. I'm a tall girl. I'm a big and tall girl. So I've always had a bed where my feet are hanging, and I've always wanted a bed big enough for my feet not to hang. So I put that on my stories a year and a half ago when I bought this bed with my network marketing money. And I was so proud of myself for accomplishing that. I paid this in cash, and I was able to share that. And some of you guys, well, some of the people that saw those stories knew me from the shelter, and they told me, I'm so proud of you because you're building yourself back up. I literally was living, when I got out of the shelter, we had a bed, but we didn't have a frame. And guess what? My feet were hanging. You know, there's little things like that I share for you know, from my life to my social media. So being true and honest in my social media comes easy. So it's part of my brand. What are other things that I said? It was coaching, motivational, and being true, like being real. For my husband, it's a little bit different. Like, he doesn't like to share little things like that. So it doesn't have to be like that for you. Whatever makes you comfortable and it makes you, that's what you want to stand by in your brand. Who are you? Who's the real you? That's what you want to share. Okay. You also want to target your audience. This was also really hard for me because I'm like, well, I don't know. So Your target audience is going to come from those values that you have, or those 3 things like that I talked about right now. For me, it's coaching or teaching, motivational, and being real. So my target audience is going to come from, like, if I post a video, like, I think it was like a week ago when I did the trending sound with you drop low and I'm like missing your husband, and then I don't know if you guys saw it. That's me being real. And also, some of you guys that know me, I could be a little bit like, I play kinky with my husband a lot. So a lot of people laughed at that. They thought it was funny. So guess what? Some people or some couples that thought that was funny, they're gonna follow me for that type of content. Motivational. I like to use sounds that tell you you got this, or this is your reminder that you're a chingona, right? I have a sound, I think on TikTok, saying that this is your reminder that you're a chingona. I like to use that type of videos or sounds. I also like to write motivational posts, and I also go live talking to you from experience that you got this, that if you're going through funks, this is X, Y, and Z that you can do to get out of it. What else? What's my other audience? Moms, right? So I do put content out there for moms. So that's my target audience. So identify what's your target audience and post about that, so you can attract people from that audience. That's how you're going to get people. That's how you're going to be able to niche down your audience. Now, I throw the word niche out there, but I don't like the word niche. If you go on YouTube, and you put branding yourself, you'll find a lot of people telling you that you need to find one niche and stick to it, and that's all you're going to talk about. I don't believe in that, because I'm not just a mom, and I'm not just somebody that likes to share motivation. I'm many different things, and I want to share many different things. So I would definitely not niche down to one thing. I would just probably chunk it down to like a few things about yourself. And that's how you're going to target and have your little crowd of people. You'll also want to have a clear, you want to have clear what's the age, the gender, the location of your audience. If you want to build local, for example, right now I'm very strong on building. I actually have people from all over the world, not all over the world, all over the state. I have people that I know from Texas. I have people that I know from here, California, from Las Vegas, from New Jersey, from Ohio. Like, I have people in my team or as customers from all over the state. But right now I'm focusing on being more local, and I've been hashtagging San Fernando Valley or Los Angeles. So if you want to target that, make sure that you're tagging places that they're local to you, and pick a location. Be clear on that. Be clear on the gender. Like, if you want to attract men and women, or just men, or just women, or for example, I follow this girl that is lesbian, so they have the LGBTQ. Like, whatever your audience and your gender is, niche it down. Your age too. For me, it's hard to pick an age, but I want to say 30 and up. For me, it's 30 and up. I don't have a specific age, just because I talk to people that are younger than me, that are my age, and that are older than me. I, for some reason, connect so good for people that are older with me. I just have an older soul. But I'm also very, very bubbly and have such an easygoing personality that I get along with everybody. But I guess I cannot niche it down to 30 years old or 40-year-old or 60-year-old. I want to say 30 and up for me. So those are some other tips that I can give you. And then be really clear in your message. And this one might be a little bit hard and it will take you some time to figure out, but you want to be really clear on your message. Trying to give you an example. I'll give you a couple examples, okay? When I think about Jessie Lee, I think about network marketing. When I think about Eric Worre, I think about the best coach or the only coach that can teach you about network marketing. When I think, let me see who else. I don't know, throw me some examples, girls. But you want to have a clear message in what you're throwing out there in your social medias, in your platform, in what you're putting out there. For me, is always going to be pushing people. And I want to be known for, like, you got this, you can do it, you got this, you can do it, you can do it. See what happens when you're too much on Reels and TikTok. That's my message. My message is motivating people to be the best versions of themselves. So be clear on your message, what you want to put out there. Omnipresence, it's another thing that I want to talk about. Omnipresence, it's something that I just started practicing, I want to say the last 60 days. I've always had all social media, Snapchat, TikTok, all of it, but I focused on putting content on all of them. And as hard as it sounds, omnipresence is just something that has to be part of your brand. And it might be hard at the beginning. Like if you're hearing me say, oh my God, I have to be on all social medias, I don't have time. Start with one, grow that one. And then when you're like, okay, I grew this one I went 90 days hard on this platform. Let me start growing the other one. And then just take a step at a time. So, but I highly suggest that you're all over social media and all the popular platforms that you can be on. Now, I also want to tell you that different platform can have different vibes, and I'm just discovering that too, because like I just said, in the last 60 days, I just started being consistent or really hard on the other ones. I think I was always hard on Facebook, and then I started really working Instagram and started really working TikTok, and I'm finding the vibe on each platform. So the content is not always the same. In Facebook, I'm more real and I'm telling like my true raw story. And then on Instagram, I'm being a little bit different. My vibe is a little bit more coachy, it's different. And then on TikTok, it's completely different. It's more makeup, it's more transitions and stuff like that. So it could be different and it's okay. You're like, we're going to go back to, you're going to attract people on your different niches that you have. Now, does anybody have any questions so far? I'm going to look at the chat real quick. TikTok's intimidating to me. I think everywhere can be, you can find those people that they could be rude and they can, I found that in Facebook actually. There's a reel that went viral a few months back and people were being just so mean. Nothing like that has happened to me in other platforms, but I feel like it's bound to happen when you're putting yourself out there. And the only thing that I can say in regards to that is that they're making you more famous. Honestly, because they're gonna be commenting on your stuff, they're gonna be liking your stuff, and they're gonna be talking crap. They're boosting your algorithm. That's really what they're doing too. They're projecting their insecurities onto you. So I would never take anything that they say personal. If they tell me that I'm fat, that I'm ugly, that they even told me that I look like that like they're trying to say that I was a pocha, and they're like, oh, and you have a nopal en la frente, and you're trying to pretend like you're not Mexican. And I'm like, I was never trying to pretend that I wasn't Mexican. So like they're just making me more famous. They're just, I would just not take it personal and just keep posting content, honestly. But I hope this is helping you guys like have a clear way of presenting yourself on social media, because this was something that was really hard for me to figure out until I finally found it. And part of it is because I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was. And I'm telling you, my ex-sponsor from back in 2017, we sat down in Starbucks and she was trying to help me with this. She was trying to help me with this topic, and she got a piece of paper and she's like, okay, tell me who's Jessica. And I'm like, I'm a mom and a wife. No. I said, who's Jessica? Who are you? What do you like? And I'm like, can I get back to you? I didn't know. And I kind of felt stupid, but I didn't know who I was. And I came to find myself through personal development, through learning, and even through a trip that I had with a previous company. I went on a trip and I was alone. And the entire trip, nobody from the girls flew with me. And the whole time I just had alone time thinking by myself. And I'm like, I remember when I was in high school, I always said I wanted to travel. Oh my God. And then I started discovering things about myself little by little. So travel has always been something, and I even forgot about it for a minute. So take some time. Don't pressure yourself. If you're in that position where you don't know who you are, figure it out. Work on it and figure it out. Think about what Jessica liked before kids and before husband. What Jessica liked before she was broken, because some of us got so broken. Some of us got so broken that we forgot who we were. No problem. So think about it. And then those things that you were before you had kids, before you got broken, before you lost yourself, go back to them. Go back to them. For me, was makeup. Started doing makeup again. And then for a minute, I started coloring. This was like 3 years ago, because I love coloring. Now I don't even have the time for it, even if I wanted to. But it was part of my process to help me find myself again. So I was sitting down with my kids and my son's therapist 4 times a week, sitting down with them. And I still have the book, because it's mandala type of coloring. And I will call them like, kids, do not touch my book. And they still to this day know not to touch my book. And I will color, and it will help me like, oh, this is who you were before you had kids. You used to love coloring. And then you start discovering yourself. So please do not feel bad if this topic is making you feel like, shoot, I'm in trouble. Don't feel bad. Figure it out, and it will, like, you will find your brand. You will find who you are, because that's what you have to promote. You promote yourself, not your product or your company. And this is for anything, not only for network marketing. Like I said, I go back to the girl that does my nails. I lost my nail girl a few years ago, and I was looking for another one. I was looking to a bunch of profiles, and I'm like, all I see is nails. Can I see your face? Can I see your vibe? Because what if I go to your house and you're a cuckoo person? Or what if like you're like this, I don't know, probably you're a guy and you're like trying to pretend like, because I like to go to shops where they work from home because they do better nails than the chinitos. I don't like to go to the chinitos. Their nails is always crooked, and they try to tell you that it's your finger that goes like this. So I like to find people that work from home. But if I don't see a profile picture, if I can't see your vibe, I'm not gonna do my nails with you. So it's for everything. Okay. Let me look at the chat real quick, and then we're done for today. And I hope this helped you guys. Yes, it's normal, Nayeli. It's normal. And this is why I brought it up, because it happens to a lot of people, even to men. even to men. And it's really hard for them to admit, but it even happens to them. So figure out who you are before you got broken, before you lost yourself, and go back to it. It recently happened to my husband, and it's a shame that he's not here so he can share with us for a little bit. But I remember telling him, because I noticed that he was more snappy and he was more like on the moody side. And I'm like, why don't you grab an instrument? When I met him, he was a musician and he plays all this bunch of instruments. And I'm like, why don't you grab an instrument? And guess what? He went on Amazon and bought himself a saxophone. And then he started finding himself again. And now he's back into sharing stocks, talking about things that he loves. But for a moment, he lost himself. And sometimes it takes for you to do one thing that you love to do, but you don't have the time to just carve out some time and make that time for you to find yourself again. So I'll let you guys go. I hope this helped some of you guys. And yes, it happens to men too. It happens to men too. So make sure that you share this with somebody if you found some value, and please reach out if you have any questions or you're like, oh, Jessica, look, I'm stuck on this. I'm more than happy to help you guys, especially with branding, because I was stuck with this for a long time. Okay, so I'll see you guys later. Have a happy Thursday, and I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.